Okay, right on, right on. I'm with you. Okay, as long as Olivia's here, I'm good.
You ready?
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of MSU Sports Circle, the defining voice in all things sports. I'm your host, Justin Neely, and joined with me as always are my colleagues, Matt Johnson and Tyler Smith. This past weekend, Michigan upset the Ohio State. Fellas, what went right for Michigan and what exactly went wrong for the Ohio State?
Well, Justin, I can tell you right now the one thing that absolutely went 110% right for the Michigan Wolverines, that was one, I think you guys might be familiar with him, Denard Robinson. I'll let you with some stats here, buddy. 14 of 17 passing, 167 yards through the air. Now, that may not sound impressive, but I'm about to make up for that with another stat that he had. 9.8 yards throwing. That's almost a first down every time this man's throwing it. But the impressive stat that stood out to me, 3 touchdowns, not 1, not 2, trace touchdowns through the air. Now here we go. Hold on for this one. 26 carries, 170 yards. So you hear me there? 100 and almost 70 yards through the air, 170 yards through the ground. The man can do it all. 6.5 yards per carry. That's more than some college football running backs get in a single game. 2 rushing touchdowns. The man does it with his legs, with his arms. I think he could do it with his torso, with his head. He's the full, complete package and might just be the evolution of quarterbacks.
Now, Matt, we know what went right for Michigan. What happened with Ohio State? What exactly was going on?
What went wrong with them? Coach Jim Tressel's not there. Terrell Pryor's not there. And we're putting a freshman quarterback with Baxter Miller that it was not even expected. It was just one of those things like, hey, Baxter, you're starting. Let's go to train. Let's get the season rolling. And what more can you really expect from a program that, had all these scandals and is coming off what they came off? I mean, they still only dropped 40-34, which is still an impressive game, better than anybody thought. I mean, come on, fellas. Did you think it was going to be that close?
No,
I thought it was going to be a blowout. I mean, it ended up being a pretty good and entertaining game. Actually better than the past couple years, my personal opinion, because Michigan's been down. But this is one of those things where I think Brad Holt, first-year coach, came in, and I guarantee you, the athletic director was like, we have to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. It has been over 7 years. You see what's going on with them. It's the perfect opportunity. Let's go in there. Let's get it done. Denard Robinson's on fire. We can do this. And that's what ended up happening.
So what you're saying went wrong, basically. It's not that the players themselves are not good enough, that the quarterback himself is not good enough, the offensive line, defensive line, corners, blah, blah, blah. Basically, the shakeup is all this is. Basically, they're rebuilding.
It's all the inside-out stuff.
So there's hope in Columbus.
Yes, sir.
All right. How long is it going to take for them to rebuild?
To rebuild, I think it will take them just about as long as Urban Meyer's contract will be. They signed him to a 6-year deal. I think the first 2 years, you deal with all the rules violations, sanctions. Next 2 years, you get that class coming through, but you could recruit. Another class coming through, work on getting back to the top of the Big Ten. Then in those last 2 years, years 5 and 6, or maybe in 4 and 5, somewhere in between there, then maybe you start talking national championship if you can get your recruiting back to the way it was back in 2003 when they played Miami for the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
So it could potentially be a long road.
It could.
I disagree with that. Urban Myers is in my opinion, one of the best coaches in college football. We've seen what he did at Utah. We've seen what he did at Florida. He's not going to, I don't think it's going to take long, me personally. Who in the Big Ten can compete with this man outside of Michigan? I say he comes in there, and I give the man 3 years. Ohio State's back rolling. He has roots. You got to remember, he is from Ohio, so that brings forward. He probably knows the areas to recruit from. He comes in there 3 years, and he has Ohio State back up to where Buckeye Nation was just at with Jim Tressel. Let's go.
So not only do you have faith in Coach Meyer, you have faith in the Ohio State. They will return to greatness.
Return to greatness better than ever.
Well, one thing's for certain. You think it could be a long road? You're saying 3 years. What I can honestly guarantee is that the Ohio State is down, but not out. Keep it locked, and we'll be right back with more MSU Sports Circle. The option quarterback, he's the evolution of the quarterback itself. So what I'm gathering from what you said is A, nothing went wrong for Michigan. B, Denard Robinson is, quote unquote, like you say, went beast mode. Now, Matt, the Ohio State, Little bit of controversy last season here and there, but the Ohio State, they are known for football. They are not one of those programs who just rolls over, and they definitely are a staple in college football tradition. What exactly happened here?
Like you said, with this past season, little shuffling of the coach of Jim Tressel resigning, and then Terrell Pryor leaving. I really don't think anything really went wrong. I just think, like I said, little scramble of little things. We had to put the quarterback, this freshman, this Braxton Miller, in a position that he wasn't ready to take on, because we was thinking Terrell Pryor was going to come in. He was the quarterback that all of a sudden had to step up, guide this team, but still did a pretty good job. I mean, this was a good football game. If I'm not mistaken, it was 34-40, right, fellas? Ohio State had several times where they could have took the lead. A couple times Braxton didn't connect with the receiver, or the receiver didn't do this, and I don't think anything went wrong. I just think, hands down, Michigan is just a better team this year.
Well, this year they did take the victory. I'm gathering from what you're saying is, they're down, but they're not out. Moving on, it's about that time in the season. I've heard a lot of whispers about the BCS championship game. Some think there could be an all-SEC matchup, Alabama, LSU again. What do y'all think?
I think it's a possibility. I don't want to say that it's for sure, because like we talked about, we say this an awful lot on this show, nothing in sports is guaranteed. However, I'll break it down to you this way. LSU, in my book, I think in all of our books, it's safe to say they're a lock for the national championship. Even if they lose to Georgia, they've still had a good enough season that one loss would not drop them out of the top 2 rankings. So I've got them going to New Orleans for the national championship. Now, past that, it gets a little tricky. You've got Alabama, who's ranked 2, Oklahoma State, ranked 3. Now, last week, Oklahoma State was up in the air. You didn't know if they were going to make it or not. They had a lot going for them. That loss to Iowa State really hurt them. You thought, oh, well, certainly, now that Alabama wins out, LSU wins out, boom, boom, 1-2, all-SEC championship game. Not so fast, my friend, to quote Lee Corso. Oklahoma State, if they can beat Oklahoma upcoming, that game still has national championship implications now. If they beat Oklahoma, they might be able to top Alabama. I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it through the BCS. In the computer ranking systems right now, Alabama has Oklahoma State by 200 and 300 points in the USA Today and the Harris Poll, and by 2% in the computer rankings. So systematically, and personally in my opinion, Alabama's the better team than Oklahoma State. But in all fairness, I don't know how you go about going with the Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game. A lot is up in the air right now.
All right, well, that's all the time we have to discuss college football. You viewers out there, grab some food, kiss your child on the forehead, do what you got to do. We'll be right back.
When you got some homework and you need a place to go, when you're working on a project and your computer is slow, there's a little place on campus that I think that you should know about. The first story of the library is what I'm talking about. Walk past Java City and then you will see the new commons area is where you should be. They got computers and printers, couches, tables, and more. It's the perfect place to go for study time galore.
Wonder if my package has come in. Sweet, it has.
How can I help you today, sir?
Yeah, I got a package.
What's your dorm address?
811 Cartmel.
811 Cartmel. See your student ID, please. All right.
Welcome back. Now, fellas, we covered college. Now on to NFL. We had a little bit of a family feud, if you will, when the 49ers faced the Ravens. The head coaches are brothers. John, he coaches for the Ravens. Jim coaches for the Niners. Let's recap the match, Tyler. What exactly went down?
Well, I'll tell you what went down. It was a defensive battle between both Harbaugh brothers. The 49ers came to play. The Ravens came to play. I have to give the edge. I mean, obviously the Ravens won, and of course I will give the edge to the Ravens in the fact that they held the 49ers, who are a 9-2 good football team this year, to only 6 points, and the Ravens defense, in my opinion, bested, although there wasn't a lot of offense in this one, they bested the 49ers as they had 9 team sacks. They sacked Alex Smith 4 times, kept him rushed all day, and the important stat to take away from this, they held a very good Pro Bowl running back candidate, Frank Gore, to 39 yards on the day. That's insane.
Matt, thoughts, feelings on this matchup?
Hard-fought game, 16-6. It went down pretty much how I thought. Ravens is the better team. This defense is it's so nasty. I mean, it's been that almost for over a decade. I mean, how do you go against these boys? Overall, 49ers still more surprising season than anybody would ever imagine them being. So we really can't, really downplay them too bad. And, just take this Thanksgiving loss and, move forward with the season. Still several games to be played out.
Well, it definitely was a good game, and we do have a lot more good games to come. Right now, fellas, it's not a good, but a great time to be a Packers fan. I mean, these boys look unstoppable. I mean, there's no words for it, so I'm going to let y'all take it away. Who's going to stop them? Will they be stopped?
Well, I think you're right about that. I don't really think there's a word in the English dictionary. Maybe I have to break out a Webster for next episode. But there's not a word to say just how good this Packers team is. But you're asking, can they go undefeated? And my answer is, not only do I think they can go undefeated, I know they're going to go undefeated. And here's why. I'll give you off their games they have left. New York Giants, Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs, Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions. Now, if you pick apart all those teams, the only two that I see even giving them a little bit of a fight would be the New York Giants and then maybe the Lions a second time around. That division's a little tough at the end of the year. But Chicago has quarterback troubles. Oakland, while they're having a good season, is not the same Oakland they used to be, not even a contest. Kansas City, quarterback problems as well. I'm sorry. To me, when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers under center, and I know I was hard on him last week, I was. But when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the best quarterbacks this year among company like Tom Brady and Drew Brees, under center, 3,475 yards, 33 passing touchdowns, yes, undefeated.
Now, Matt, Tyler's saying that they're a juggernaut. They will not, cannot be stopped. Is he right?
I think, like I said, hands down, they are the best team. Aaron Rodgers, MVP. Mike McCarthy, great coach. I think they can be beat, but will they be beat? I get right now, I'm going to say they won't be beat, but I'm just going to say this. I won't be surprised if they got upset in one of these games. It wouldn't surprise me. Or better yet, go undefeated and be like your 09 Patriots and go off to the Super Bowl and lose.
So you're not sold that the slate will be perfectly clean for the Green Bay Packers this
Not
season?
necessarily, because I mean, in sports, it's not even always about who is the better team. It comes down to who wants it more. It could be that one game, and I mean, we haven't really seen it yet, but you never know. Be that one game where Green Bay just feels overconfident, come out and just get swept, and everybody be like, "Whoa, what happened? Is it because they was overrated? No, they came over cocky, thinking they was gonna walk through, and what ended up happening? Went down, but." We only time will tell.
Well, one thing is for certain, the Green Bay Packers are a force, and they're here to stay. Well, y'all keep it locked, and we'll be back with more MSU Sports Circle right after this commercial break. It's time to break down regional college basketball. Now, Tyler, can you inform me, as well as the viewers at home, a little bit about University of Kentucky?
I absolutely can. And the one thing that I want to start off with, now they did play a Portland team that was not exactly what you would call a powerhouse. It is Portland. But the one thing you can take away from this game, Marcus Teague stepped up, had a good game. I'm not going to say a great game. Like we talked about before the game, putting up bid numbers against a lower team like Portland is not always impressive. But his stats are as follows. 14 points, 8 assists, 4 steals. That's the one that stood out to me. Very good defense, not necessarily overdoing his offense, so to speak. 4 steals, that was impressive to me by a freshman in Marcus Teague. Not something you see very often. Terrence Jones, meanwhile, led the team in the tie for 19 points, 3 to 4 other UK players scored in double figures again. Granted, it was Portland, but that's nice. It's always good to see, but this team as a whole is scoring in double figures. That can be scary if, I say if, they can transition that into games like UNC, like St. John's that they have coming up. Now, with that said, Darius Miller off the bench had 19 points to tie Terrence Jones as the sixth man. That's very impressive, but I think we expect Miller to do that with the seniority. He should be putting up 19. To be honest, he should be edging out one of those players in the starting lineup. But I think the road will get a little tougher for UK as they face St. John's and then UNC back-to-back.
All right. Matt, fill me in about U of L.
6-0. They had a big impressive win last night with Long Beach State, going against a pretty nice score in Casper Ware and the athletic team overall. Friday's going to be the real test, I have to say, fellas, when they play number 19 Vandy at home in Louisville. Right now, I am just so impressed with Louisville right now. Every week it seems like somebody's going down or somebody returns and then gets hurt again. I've never seen this in my life, a team that has so many injuries game after game, practice after practice. I'm just so impressed how they just find a way to keep winning with so many injuries and with key players going down, like with Peyton Siva, him just now getting back in the groove. And I'm just thinking I just think it's the highest. I mean, I think once everybody comes back, we already seeing how they're looking with just the little players they have. Watch out for this team. This team is going to be dangerous.
All right, good things for both UK, U of L. Now let's bring it a little closer to home. MSU Lady and Men's Eagles. Tyler?
I'll start off with the women's basketball team. Unfortunately, I hate to bring the bearer of bad news. They suffered a pair of losses to teams like New Mexico and the University of Idaho in the New Mexico Thanksgiving tournament over the weekend. But the important thing to take away from that game is a freshman, Natalie Greenwell, had 15 points in the New Mexico loss. So that's pretty impressive for a true freshman on our squad of a team that's very experienced to step up, lead some of those seniors with scoring. Meanwhile, Linda Ditson had 12 points for the Eagles, so not bad. But the part that I think is driving Coach Tom Hodges crazy, and I can't say that he's pulling his hair out because he doesn't have any hair. I have no room to talk myself. However, it's the shooting percentage. In the last couple of games, they've had 30s and 40s. And like I talked to Matt before the show started, and Matt, I don't know if you agree with me, so I'll ask you, can you keep doing this and find a way to win? Are you serious? 30 to 40%? You've got to get a little better than that. Your thoughts?
Have to. You can't win a ball game like that. You cannot win. You cannot proceed on like that. But you know what? The season's still young. You know that New Mexico tournament, I think, will really help them out. Long distance. You're not on your home court. I think that's really going to help us out and benefit when we have more games home here at OVC play.
Well, we know where the ladies dropped the ball per se and what they need to do to improve. Matt, let me know about the men's program.
Well, right now, starting off 3-4, 1 at home here, 0-3 away, and 2-1 neutral. They're coming off a Thanksgiving tournament too in Pennsylvania, the Ticket City Legends Classic, where they won the first game against West Alabama, 61-52, won against Princeton, 68-56, and then dropped a devastating loss against Bucknell, 50-54. Right now, this team, like I've been saying since the season's been going, I'm really just worried about this year. So far, we really haven't had that go-to player that really step up, that just want to put this team under his belt and just take over this team. Just because right now, I don't think we have even a starting five set, in my opinion. I mean, I really think Donnie Tyndall needs to just, you know what, every game maybe just switch the lineup outside of a couple of your key players like Terrence Hill and Prophet and Kelly. Because this right now, I don't know what to say right now about us.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to say keep your head up.
Yeah.
After this break, we'll be right back with a little more national basketball.
That's right. Get the good stuff. The Java City on campus has just what you need to get you going. Located on the first floor of the Camden Carroll Library.
Fellas, there's been a lot of controversy national basketball-wise. I mean, one thing that I have to talk about, UNC, UNLV. That's all I'm going to say. Break it down.
I'll break it down this way. The only person that stood out to me in this contest, Chase Standback. And he made you stand back and say, whoa, what just happened? 28 points, 4-11 from three, made a couple of big threes, had some good highlights. He was a monster in this game. Now, I'm not going to say that he single-handedly dismantled UNC, because he did not. There were 3 other players on that roster but scored in double digits. I think that really hurt the UNC Tar Heels. But another player to not be lost in the contest here, Anthony Marshall, one of their other guards, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. This guy was doing everything. And like we talked about before the show, I just don't think that UNC showed up defensively.
So UNLV played the game of their lives. UNC didn't show up. Matt, what exactly happened?
I'm right there with Todd. His last statement just said, this team, this UNC team, I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm not going to say they're overrated. I'm not going to say we overhyped them, but they are terrible. And I repeat, a terrible defensive team. Awful. We don't know how to guard the perimeter. We don't run off screens. You can guard anybody. I mean, I kind of blame Coach Williams. I mean, why was John Henson up at the top of the key trying to guard people that's trying to shoot? Zola running all over the place. We're supposed to be down low trying to get rebounds, getting players, to cave in when players are coming in to defend. I was just like, what? I mean, it's all over the place. We went in first half sloppy. We came back sloppy. I mean, Coach Williams, great coach, Hall of Famer, did not do a great job coaching. UNLV dominated the tempo the whole 40 minutes. Give them all the credit.
Well, I definitely have to agree with the both of you. One thing UNC has to do, step up their pick and roll defense and make free throws. Also, control your fouling. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Now, my question is, where did they go from here? Are we going to almost feel bad for the teams that they have to play because we're going to see a whole new monster in UNC because now people have seen them bleed, per se? Or are they just going to crumble?
Well, I think it's going to be the latter of the two, and I think I'll take a page out of your book. They're about to hurt feelings because now you've had a team like UNLV come in, and I don't want to say expose you, but they've shown that you're vulnerable. They've made you bleed, as you said, so to speak. So now they're going to lick their wounds, bandage them up, come back out, and then watch out because UNC, if they're the UNC that we're used to seeing, and Roy Williams is the coach that Matt talked about, watch out for UNC from here on out.
Agree or disagree? Where does UNC go from here?
I agree. They're going to come back, and I say it starts tomorrow when we play Wisconsin Badgers. We're always known to be a great shooter. We've seen they're not a great defender on the perimeter. Starts tomorrow. We get it going tomorrow. If we get that win, we come in Saturday, the big heavyweight, 12 o'clock against your number 1 now, Kentucky Wildcats. They will bounce back.
Mentally, are they prepared to battle the UK Wildcats in Rupp?
I think right now, when you go to a place like Rupp, it's a different area, different arena, different house. It's almost the same style as if you would have the UNC Duke game at either place, whether you're going to Camden or whether you're going to UNC. It's just a different animal in itself. It's almost a second opponent. You're not just playing UK, you're playing Rupp Arena. I don't think they're ready, but I think if they go to the tournament, neutral court, I'll take UNC over UK if they can turn things around this season.
Ready or not?
Ready. There's no freshmen in the starting lineup. It's all sophomores and up. They've seen a year or two of this. There should be no excuses why we don't go in Kentucky and bounce back with a big W if they're capable of doing that. If they really are the North Carolina, everybody's saying they will be.
Well, here at MSU Sports Circle, we seem to have come to the consensus that, as we say a lot, UNC is down, but definitely not out. There are a lot of great games to play, and there's a lot of season left. So we'll definitely see how this plays out. Keep it locked, and we'll be right back after more commercial breaks.
Need a ride?
for the shuttle. It's free!
Welcome back. It's time to talk about, of course, the MSU ladies volleyball team. I mean, these girls have really took and placed the university on their shoulders. I mean, I really have no other words. I mean, they made it to the NCAA tournament. The ladies are set to face off against the 5th national seed Purdue. Break it down.
It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. And in a way, I almost kind of feel bad for the MSU volleyball team in the fact that they're going to have to bottle all of those emotions because they're going to be so excited to go out there and play against 5th national seeded Purdue. They've made the tournament. They've had so much success this season, but they're going to have to remain focused. That's one thing Jimmy Gordon talked about. They're going to have to represent Morehead State, go in there, letting people know who we are, what we represent, and just what we can do. And I really think that the MSU Eagles will have a good chance. I don't want to say that they're going to upset Purdue because I think that might be a long shot. As much as that kills me to say, Purdue is just that good. They are a very good team. As a matter of fact, the selection show committee said that could be a potential Final Four team. So the odds are against us. But I think if MSU comes in there, plays high octane, plays like they're the underdog, they might have a chance, and I'm very excited for them, and hats off to the MSU Volleyball Eagles for this season. It's been incredible.
It definitely has. Upset alert or not? Predictions?
It's hard to say. There will not be an upset. I'm sorry. I think we're just honest truth. Coach Jamie Gordon's just happy to be at the tournament. Had a great season. We pretty much dominated the OVC. We've had an exciting big team come here with Michigan. It was just most excitement we've ever probably seen in volleyball history for the MSU university. Like I said, we're going, let's just fight hard, and you never know. Let's just see where it goes. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, personally, I feel Morehead State basketball can upset U of L in the tournament. Anything's possible. I have faith in the ladies. They've given me no reason to doubt them. Tyler, talk about these 3 key players as to why I just can't doubt them.
The 3 key players that you cannot doubt and you absolutely have to respect: Emma Keogh, a redshirt senior, Liz Schuler, a senior, and Ellie Robertson, a junior outside hitter. They are all absolute key cogs to what has been such a successful season for the Eagles. Liz Schuler has been a leader since the day that she got here. She's a very good provider for the team. She goes out there and knows her role. She can play defense and offense. Emma Keogh, this season alone, broke the record for total block assists with over 350 for her career. And then Ellie Robertson is a kill machine. If MSU is going to pull off the upset, those 3, I promise you, will be behind it.
Well, one thing's for certain, we definitely have to take our hats off to the MSU Lady Eagles volleyball team. Not only here at MSU Sports Circle are we proud of you, but the whole university is behind you, and we have faith. We'll be right back with more Sports Circle after the break.